it's Women's Fair and we're back with another video. What are we doing today?
So we on final day.
Yep.
Tomorrow is election day, so this is the last day of election campaigning of the elections.
Absolutely.
So just to be in the spirit of things,
Mm.
we're gonna make a few predictions.
Okay.
We're gonna tell people what we think is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's just check out this clip first,
Okay.
and then you tell me what you think.
How do you think the South African elections are going to play out? What is your prediction? And I want an honest prediction.
I think the ANC will probably get about 45% or somewhere there. I think that we're going to have, I think the DA will remain the same, if not less. I think the EFF maybe might pick up 1 or 2 votes or percentage points from their previous elections. I think MK is overbaked. I think we will do well in the sense that our offering is coming from South Africans. And I think what will probably, and this is what I want to see happen, is a grand coalition of the opposition. And so we are playing to play that role of being that anchor party that brings South Africans together to be able to form a government of the future. So that's what we're working on.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, his prediction is pretty much, it's pretty close to what I'm also thinking in my mind, particularly like with the ANC, the EFF as well, and the DA. So I do think that I definitely, feel strongly that the ANC will definitely get below 50% and will be in the 40s, and I do think it will be mid 40s to even a little bit lower, to be honest, not over 45. I don't see an over 45. I feel like best case scenario would be a 45. That's where I'm at with the ANC.
So last time ANC was like 56%, 57% national votes. To drop below 50 or to 45, to lose 10% of voters,
Yeah.
that is a lot of voters.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's like
Yes.
10%.
And you think that's not possible?
No, I don't think that is possible.
With all the people that have openly said now, that they previously voted for the ANC and they're not doing it, and they're voting for us, you don't think it's possible at all
No.
to make?
So I'm thinking, so
10%.
10% of like what 27 million registered voters.
Yeah.
That's about 2 million voters gone.
Yes.
2 million gone.
That's why I do believe that at least 2 million people have turned away from the ANC.
So that wouldn't be possible. That wouldn't be possible without the MK. But because now the MK is in
And the
picture,
EFF, think of it. A lot of people have.
some EFF has been around for 10 years now. So
Absolutely.
people who are voting for the ANC now are not going to vote for the EFF. Like the EFF wasn't going to take. So my issue with all of this is like, okay, now that there's MK, especially here in KZN, MK is predicted to be the biggest party in KZN.
Yes.
Predicted, like, so with that being said, it is possible that ANC could lose 2 million votes
Yes.
because of the MK. It's possible. Then they fall below. Then they fall around about 45%, somewhere around there. But I'm thinking this is my thinking. I'm thinking they're just gonna scrape through, just like by my 51% or something like that. Just because I think
With just a little bit of a bruise.
yeah,
But
I think
badly.
they could potentially lose 1 million votes and some change, but 2 million votes is a lot.
I feel like 2 million mark. In fact, I do feel like they could even go a little bit beyond 2 million. I kind of feel they've definitely lost at least 2 million people.
But ideally,
previous
I would love the ANC to be around about low 40s.
Yeah.
Ideally, I'd love ANC to be around about low 40s, so that opposition parties can have a much stronger say.
And I feel like they've also been bad PR'd enough with the new voters coming in as well. Like, younger people who have previously could not vote. I don't think they're gonna go to ANC.
Well, in my thinking, the ANC is still a very strong party.
Of course, there's no denying.
The brand is crazy.
There's no denying that they'll.
People still have sentimental value and all that stuff like that. So there's a difference between There's a difference between talking a whole lot of shit on social media, and then when you're there
And
at the voting
I
station,
get that.
you see the parties.
I get that.
And you recognize, okay, I recognize Cyril, I
Yeah.
recognize the ANC logo, and then I recognize Zuma. Okay, MK logo, I don't recognize like that, but Zuma's there.
Yeah.
And then I see Julius, and then all these other faces you don't recognize. Maybe you might recognize John Steenhuisen or whatever, but you see Cyril, you see Julius, and then you see Zuma.
Yeah.
Most people are gonna choose between those three faces.
No,
Most people.
and Cyril's face, I feel like Cyril's face has sort of gotten enough bad press for itself, even from the pandemic times, everything. Like, I feel like on its own, I feel like the worst thing that the ANC can even do for themselves is to put Cyril's face on there.
A lot of people still love Cyril, a lot. Okay, but
No, I feel like we see isolated events of like that crazy blind loyalty, and we think like that's where people are at, but because that's what we used to, happening to the ANC. But I feel like things are different. I really strongly feel like things are different this time. Like, how can we collectively were so frustrated with Cyril during the pandemic, that I feel like a lot of people have also lost a bit of with him,
okay, look at it like this.
like
Right? So
that if people were influenced to some degree, like, okay, no ANC. I feel like
yes, so in a lot of elections, when a party shrinks, they don't shrink dramatically. They usually shrink by a few percentage
Of course.
points. Now with MK being involved there, when a new party comes into the scene, new parties generally do not grow bigger than 7%.
yeah.
So if you take that into consideration, that okay, if MK is there and they predicted to grow around 5% to 6%, and then you have EFF growing as well, maybe by
Yeah.
1% or 2%. Then you have the DA shrinking a little bit, and then you have the ANC, which will. So in order for the ANC to lose, literally 10% of their votes,
Yeah.
it will require a combination of MK
Yeah.
eating away the votes, EFF eating away.
That's what I
the
feel like
votes
would be happening.
by like more than 10%.
Yes, and then also a lot of them are also going to smaller parties as well. Think about it. I've heard a lot of people who were like, they were ANC and now they're going to ATM or they're going to Cook or whatever, all these other ones. So their votes are eaten away. Their votes are taken. Like, and at this point, like, I feel like it would be it's kind of silly of us to think that it won't reach 10%. All of that,
We've never seen anything like that happen before.
that's what I'm saying. You speaking from that, you want to keep the logic because it's like, hey, we've
And-
never seen this. I don't want to be too optimistic or too.
My prediction is that it's either they're gonna scrape through just by a percentage, like 51%, or they're gonna just go below 50 by 41 or 48%, something.
Yeah.
Like that. That's my prediction with the ANC. With the EFF, I see them growing, but I don't see them growing as much as they should.
Exponentially, like.
I mean, the EFF should have, they should have become in the ANC's competitors.
Yes.
Like, as in, like
Like
being
neck and
comparable
neck,
to the ANC in terms of votes. But there's a few things that they got
Open
wrong.
borders.
They got wrong in this
Open
campaign.
borders.
Mostly the open borders thing. That has turned people off.
I
to
feel like
the
that's
EFF.
one thing that turned people. That's why I feel like a lot of people in talks now are like, okay, I'll vote for somebody else, maybe MK or whoever for national, and then maybe EFF for provincial, because they have that. We do like you, but like we're concerned, So I've been hearing people talk like that a lot lately, where they are afraid of putting them at national level. Or some people would say, I like EFF, but I'll put Gayton at national level because of borders, and then EFF at provincial, and things like that. So it's like people who would have strongly wanted to vote for the EFF have now sort of taken a seat back and would rather put other parties at the at national level because they're really uncomfortable about the border situation.
So
But
I think the EFF like really underestimated how important this border issue is to a lot of South Africans.
yeah,
They didn't. I don't think they took it
no, they didn't
seriously
take
to the
it
point where
seriously.
it's like, okay, this could be hurting our growth, and
Yeah.
they in these elections could have potentially been the EFF challenging the ANC. But yeah, so the EFF, I see them growing like slightly, maybe like I see them getting an extra 3%. I see them
At most.
getting an extra 3%.
Oh,
Look at this, 10% is like, yeah, like I said, 2 million votes. That's as many people that vote for the EFF alone, and you expect the ANC to lose that many votes. That is crazy business. That is crazy. So
I feel like they'll definitely be below 9 million. They were on 10 million and some odds. They'll definitely go way below 9 million.
So people are saying that, or they're predicting that the EFF will now become the new opposition party
Yeah.
to the ANC, which basically being the second biggest party in the country. But in order for that to happen, the DA will need to lose a significant amount of votes. So 2029 and 2019 they got like 20%. I see them getting around 18%. I see them losing like 1 or 2% to the Patriotic Alliance, to the likes of Freedom Front Plus, and all those other new parties contesting in the Western Cape. Because
But like
I
now,
don't
if you think of it at the bigger scale, it won't. They can no longer have that 20% anymore. If you think, considering to how many votes need to go to different parties.
yes, but I feel them
So-
shrinking by a little bit, not by a lot.
So now I don't think they'll even touch 10.
You
Considering
don't think
that
they'll touch 10%?
No. Considering now we're putting in other people who are taking large chunks of votes, that we could be talking smaller numbers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like now we could be talking 45%, maybe ANC, then at most anybody else. I feel like a 20% is big. Like it's
Yeah, they're
a
not
lot
getting 20.
because now there wasn't the likes of Roy MK and all of that last year, which we know have I feel like are going to take a significant number of voters. So that 20% DA got last time, let's just forget about it. Even in a best case scenario of an opposition party, I don't think we'll have that 20%. Do you get me?
Well, I'm thinking that MK is gonna get around about 6%.
Because
national.
even the smaller parties are taking more votes now than they did
Yeah,
before.
but they won't grow significantly.
Of course.
I'm thinking MK is gonna take around
So
about
there's less votes for them as
5
well.
to 6%, 5 to 6% nationally,
Hmm.
which is around just over 1 million votes. I think they'll get just over 1 million
Hmm.
votes, and then the likes of EFF will probably get closer to 2 million votes.
Hmm.
So I think EFF will be double the size of MK, which will probably be around
Yeah.
14%.
So go back to this. So you see the top three before made up of like just over 80%, right? I don't think that's going to be possible this time.
It still will be.
I don't think so, because I do feel like the other parties now have gained more people because a lot of people have lost trust in obviously the DA, the ANC, and whatever, right? And those people are not only going to the EFF and MK. There are more of them that have decided to choose, new parties to go to. So I no longer feel like that top three of 80% is possible like it was in the last. Also putting in there MK, who's also taking a large chunk of votes, right?
I think they're gonna get MK is gonna do well, but they're not gonna go crazy.
Yeah, of course, but I don't see them getting below 10%.
I don't see them getting more than 1.5 million votes. I don't see them getting more than that.
Okay.
So my prediction is ANC 48. I think DA will be 18%. I think EFF will grow slightly to like 13-14%. And I think MK will have like 5 to 6%. And then it will be the rest of them fighting for the remaining percentage.
Yeah.
So those four parties are still gonna eat up about 80% of the vote.
Yeah.
My thing is, I know that we there's a lot of talk on social media, but election results do not drastically change over a term like that.
Yeah.
Even though the ANC have been quite bad in this previous term, they still have a strong support base. They still have a strong voter base all over the country, not just certain territories like KZN and all that stuff like that.
Yes.
All over the country, they have a strong voter base.
Yes.
All those other provinces that people don't really look into, like the Free State, like the Northern Cape, Northwest, ANC is dominating those provinces there. Like, so I expect them to continue to dominate those provinces. I see the DA shrinking slightly because they haven't done enough to cultivate new voters. They haven't done enough to even keep some of the voters that were voting for them previously, because the likes of Gayton is going to eat away at the colored vote. There are also other small colored parties as well that are going to eat away at the colored votes in the Western Cape. And then you have the Freedom Front Plus. More white people are seeing that as a
So you feel like, again, our biggest problem is just the split vote, like the very divided vote.
Yes. So the vote is extremely divided. That's why Musi Maimane said that he wants to facilitate an environment where all the opposition parties can come together and form like this government, this new government,
big government,
and exclude.
And like, especially if the ANC gets below 50, that's very possible. Or if they get below 50, even a 1% below 50.
Everybody else can come together to form a new government.
Yes.
I remember we were having this chat before that I was like, remember we had this chat before about this new opposition parties coming together, and I said that Musi might be a great candidate to be president.
Yes.
For that kind of situation.
I feel like he's got the maturity to handle that situation, to be honest.
But just quickly, I wanted to just give a shout out to us specifically and content creators in South Africa. Like content creators in South Africa has made these elections very interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
There's been a lot of politicians going to podcasts. There's been a lot of debate on alternative media.
Absolutely.
So content creators, the likes of Openwelly, Caesar Fofu Welsh, the TikToker Darren Camphor, Dan Corder, all those Citizen Concerned, the 360 Experience, all those people, the State of the Nation, all those people talking politics have made politics very interesting.
Absolutely.
And I think this is the most invested South Africa has been.
Absolutely, in politics. And all because of that. All because now different views, as opposed to just, politicians talking politics, have also come into play. And that has, made people a little bit more interested, in hearing about politics and having, political conversations.
So I'm proud of the fact that alternative media is playing a very big role in getting out the message to the people about election and about politics, and people are now invested and more involved. So shout out to us. So yeah, tomorrow we're voting. Please go out to vote. It's a public holiday. There's no excuses. Go out, just spend that hour or two queuing up, get your vote in, then you can have fun afterwards.
Absolutely.
Please go out to vote, and remember, this is your final daily reminder. Don't vote for the ANC.
Don't vote for the ANC.
You can vote for anybody else. You can vote for whoever you want, but if you want to vote for a change in South Africa, please don't vote for the ANC.
Do the right thing.
But anyway, you guys just let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Yeah, let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.